Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Be Joy in the Kitchen. I am Be Joy, and this is my kitchen here. And happy to be here with you all today. Today we're going to make a grilled eggplant with a plant-based pesto. So it's going to entail three different parts. But to get back to why I've chosen this recipe today is that basil is just in abundance in my garden right now, in my tower garden. I'm going to try and show you a little bit about what it looks like if you can view out there. There you go. You see that? That's an aeroponic garden. That basil is growing out there without any soil and eating just what it needs to be eating. So anyway, that's my basil. That was what inspired me today. I don't know about in your part of the country, but basil is abounding right now as well at our farmers markets. So why did I choose a specific pesto recipe that I want to go over is this one right here. And that's not my handwriting, that is my mom's handwriting. And she was turned out in her life to be a wonderful cook, my mom, Helen Boris. However, I will tell a short story about how cooking was in her life when she was a young bride. Guess the first meal she ever cooked for my dad, turns out she decided she was going to make a steak. And she grew up eating really rare steak, and my dad grew up eating shoe leather. And so he sits down at the table, takes one look at the steak, and leaves the room and goes to his mother's down the street. Horrible story, kind of, but you know what? They were married over 60 years very happily. She did learn to cook eventually, and in fact was the first chef that my brother had at his catering business. And lasted there quite some time until she said, you know what, I am too old to be lugging 70-pound, 60-pound stock pots around the kitchen. So she went from not knowing how to basically boil an egg to being quite an accomplished cook. Anyway, so I'm going to use her recipe today, although her recipe is not plant-based. It uses Parmesan cheese. So the three parts that we're going to do, first we're going to make a plant-based Parmesan. Then we're going to use that plant-based Parmesan to finish off the plant-based pesto. And we're going to use that on top of these wonderfully grilled, I grilled these outside on my barbecue earlier today. And really, they're really easy to do. We'll go over that in a minute. All right, so let's get started with our cashew-based Parmesan. So it's 3/4 of a cup of just raw, uncooked, unroasted, unsalted, plain old organic cashews in the food processor. To that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Now, this is not the kind of yeast that gives, that yeast infection kinds of stuff, or people that are allergic to yeast. This is nutritional yeast. This is what it looks like in the bottle. This is the bottle that I buy anyway from Bragg's. And it's got a lot of high vitamin B in it. In fact, so I don't know if you can see it in there. And this is the large flake. You can also get it at natural food stores in bulk. I've bought it that way many times. So that's going to go there, and then we're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon, 1, 2, and in this case I'm using some kosher salt. Again, I think I explained kosher salt last time I talked about this. Oh, maybe not. Kosher salt really means it's a coarser grain of salt, and it's a little saltier in taste. It comes from when you kosher meat, which means it's slaughtered in a particular way, and then you kosher it, you draw all the blood out of it. So anyway, I got my food processor here today, not my best friend, the Vitamix. This is my second best friend in the kitchen. I'm going to go ahead and power it up. And what we're going to do, I'm going to just take a little bit of a pulse first. Until we get, I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to leave it on until it gets finely brown. And take that out. And here we go. And this is what it's going to look like after it's done. It's going to be pretty finely ground. All right, we're going to take that to the side for the moment. And then do our next part, which is the pesto. Oops, a little bit of that. All right, so I'm going to take the bigger bowl of my food processor this time. That was the mini bowl. I'm going to go ahead and put in the big gun blade. So what we need for our pesto is 2 cups of pesto of basil leaves, pretty well packed in. So here's one. Let me get the second one. This is right off, as you know, fresh off the garden that you just saw in the window. And we're just going to pack that in there. You can never have too much basil in the pesto. So that's pretty much 2 cups of that packed in, according to Mom's recipe. I'm sure she got this recipe from someone else, but for me, it's hers. All right, then we're going to take 1/4 cup of pine nuts. You've not seen a pine nut before, that's what they look like. Some people tend to like to toast theirs. I like to leave mine raw, but toasting does bring out a little bit more flavor to it. Then we're going to take and put in our 1/2 cup of Parmesan, which is here, if I get my 1/4 cup here. Quarter cup measure, and get my 1/2 cup of Parmesan. And then let's not forget the garlic. 4 cloves of garlic. I've got 3 of them trimmed up already. And then I'm going to go ahead and, I know I've shown this, the Cousin Joshie garlic undresser. Makes the garlic naked in just a 1/2 second here. Take it like that. Because you know how pesky garlic can be sometimes. And then I like to cut the little end off there. Pop that in there. Alrighty. And then I'm going to take this hello, there we go, got it. And I'm going to pulse it. Till it's just combined. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a look on here, because I don't want to get it too smooth, because we're going to add olive oil to that. So a little bit of a chop like that. Especially with this particular food processor, which tends to make things really smooth really quick. And we don't want it that smooth that quick. Okay, to that, we're going to take 3/4 cup of olive oil. And I'm going to put it in a slow stream. And you're going to want to check it, because I don't like my pesto too smooth. And this is looking just about right to me. See how I got that there? It's got still a nice little chop to it. So you get a little good, that kind of feel in your mouth rather than smooth, smooth, smooth. Alrighty, there we have that. There is your vegan, or plant-based, I like to call it, plant-based pesto. Looking yummy. Ooh, and if you were in the kitchen here with me, you would smell how nice it smells. Really nice, really good. Okay, so we're going to make, with this, we're going to take this and put this on our grilled eggplant slices. I grilled the eggplant earlier today. I took a globe eggplant. Those are those nice purple ones. And I make sure they're smooth and they've got a bit of weight to them and they don't have a lot of wrinkles in them or anything. And I sliced it about maybe 1/4 inch slices like that. Salted them on a paper towel. And then when they'll tear up, they get kind of teary. And what I'll do with that after, maybe 10-15 minutes is I patted them off with the paper towel, brushed them on both sides with, I used sunflower oil. Olive oil is not good on the grill. It really shouldn't be used for high heat. Sunflower oil is a good alternative. Coconut oil is a good alternative. Safflower, canola, any of those oils that say high heat oil. would be better than using an olive oil, which I used for years before I knew. And I grilled it about probably 5 minutes per side. And so this is what we've got, these beautiful slices of grilled eggplant. So I'm going to line the bottom of this with that, with these guys. Meanwhile, also before you came to my kitchen today, I put my broiler on in the oven. So we got several of these guys. These are, now I had to tell Arlene, my spouse, hands off on the eggplant because we're having these for dinner tonight, and you can't. And they're going to be on the show today, so that she couldn't. She loves grilled eggplant, absolutely adores it. Okay, so I'm going to get this pesto here, and so I've got my eggplant on the bottom like that. Then I'm going to take my pesto, spread it on each slice of eggplant there. Not too thick. You don't want it to get too mushy. Okay, like that. And maybe a little bit more over here on this guy. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that. You see how I've got those? And then you want to rinse and repeat. So you want to put more eggplant on top of that. And I've just got, just enough to make another little second layer on there, depending on the size of your eggplant. Do that again. A little bit more pesto on top of there. And right like that. And if you want, you could, well, I'm going to throw it under the broiler. See how nice that looks? Beautiful. It's going to be super, super yummy. I'm going to throw it in my broiler back here on the top. You want to put your rack up near the top on this, so that it's fairly close. And you just want to heat it up in there for a couple of minutes. Okay, a little time-lapse photography here, and that's what it looks like. You can see it's starting to bubble just a little bit. Traditional pesto with the cheese in it would be bubbling up a whole lot more than this, but this is just beautiful. And I'm going to serve this tonight on a little bit of rice. You can do it on a gluten-free pasta. You can also serve it just as it is, as just a little side dish or a little appetizer. So this here is your grilled eggplant with plant-based pesto. And if you want, for the little end cap on it, just put a little bit of the Parmesan, vegan Parmesan, plant-based Parmesan on top of it. And you've got a lovely, lovely meal. So, well, that was loud. There we have it. As always, my wish for you is to be joyful in your kitchen this coming week. And be safe, be healthy, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.